in my life story. Perhaps they would. I have written some stories that are quite autobiographical, however. It's just that I'm not the person, or at least I have taken my own experiences. But Song of the Lark is a very autobiographical novel, I believe, because it's about a young girl who has a lot of ambitions, a lot of talents, and she is desperate to get away from her little tiny town of Red Cloud. In that case, it's Hancock, and it's situated in Colorado, but it's really Red Cloud. I've used Red Cloud in so many of my stories. Another very autobiographical story is it's a short story. It's not very short actually, but it's called Old Mrs. Harris. And it's about a girl who is desperate to get away once again and to go to college. And I don't believe that just because you're a woman, it means that you can't do great things. Once I said, just being a woman doesn't mean I don't have ambitions to be the Pope or the Emperor. Yes?
Could you talk a little bit about Jim Burden as the narrator of that book? It sounded, I thought maybe it was your voice in there.
Well, yes, it is, of course, my voice. But I wanted the narrator to be a man. I wanted the narrator to be someone who goes on and eventually is very successful materially in the world, but has a rather unhappy personal life. Because I wanted him to, so many men who have a successful life and go on perhaps don't have such a deep feeling for their childhood and the people that they knew as a youngster. But he remembers her as someone who could have played so many different roles in his life. And so I wanted Jim to be Jim. But I do use him, I suppose, to express some of my own feelings and my own points of view. Susan, you're putting up two hands.
I'm putting up two hands. When Jim met the woman on the train, they both had grown up in Red Cloud and they both knew My Antonia. And my question is the woman on the train in the book anywhere?
Is she
In Jim's
further
narrative.
on?
Does she appear in Jim's narrative? Because I wondered who she was, because she was a writer.
Well, she's me too.
Okay.
I suppose I sort of threw people, I guess they call it a curveball, with that kind of introduction. But somehow that's the way it just occurred to me. I wanted 2 points of view right at that very beginning. I needed something to get Jim going on this process of writing about Antonia. And so this woman is sort of a catalyst to get him moving and to get him thinking back and remembering. Because this book is all about memory, really. When you get right down to it, it's very much, and that's why it might seem a little difficult for some of you young people to grasp, because it is about memory and it's about people thinking back later in life to their younger days. But Willa was very fond of saying that for a writer, guess I'm not talking. I better take my hat off. I seem to be lapsing back and forth between Willa and me. Willa would say that the experiences that you have before you're 15 years old are the experiences that really matter to a writer later on in life. It's as if these things that happen to you early on kind of percolate around in your bloodstream for years and years, and after they've kind of been there for a long time, you can finally set them down on a piece of paper. And so, well, you can, from what Willa said just now, you can imagine that she's a person who really feels that she talks about the present being rather insignificant and not very important, but we had a beautiful past. So that's probably a little hard for some of you to grasp at this stage of the game. Give you another 40 years.
Are you Mrs. Swanson now?
Beg pardon?
Are you Lynne Swanson?
I'm Lynne Swanson.
Could I ask you a little bit about what kind of research you did to try to develop that your characterization?
Okay, well, back about 1980, there was what was called Chautauqua here in Wyoming. Chautauqua is